All right, it's veg day. Prepping, backpacking, cutting. It's time to get everything going. So the tools today are a good sharp knife. I'm using a Shun stainless steel Damascus chef's knife. Using a steel to get the edge right on it, even. And then I'm also using a vegetable peeler. What are we cutting today, you ask? Diakon. This is a Japanese radish. So how do you use Diakon, you might ask? So we love radishes. Pretty easy for us to figure out how to do it. But this one's special. So it's, I believe it's a little more spicy here, medium spicy, and then sweet up towards the top part where the actual flower was coming out of the ground, or the fronds. So we're gonna actually shave the outer layer off and probably take this piece and dice it or cut it into wedges for salads. And then here up, I'm gonna probably cut into cubes so we can roast it and do a roasted vegetable salad. It's my idea anyway. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna stick it in this bag because we're gonna use it in the next week. And then I'm gonna cut some jalapeños. I'll probably cut 2 or 3 of those. And then I've got some kale stems. So I love kale, and these are really hard to eat raw. I can do it. Shondell doesn't like it. But I love roughage like this, but so I can kind of introduce this amazing vitamin back into our diets. What I do is make it palatable for her too. The way to do that is to blanch it. You know, salted boiling water, 2-3 minutes, pull it out of the water, cool it like I just did in my time-lapse video with the Brussels sprouts and the broccoli. That way you stop it right there, and it's like stopping it in time with the same raw color. So when you do it like that, you get an amazing product you can freeze, or it'll stay for a long time in a good fridge. So we're gonna actually, Shondell's gonna strip a bunch more kale so I can parboil these and reuse the water I've been using on veg all day. So we recycle as much as we can, and we use that water for as many vegetables as we can. Waste less water, save the planet. You know the thing. It's all we're trying to do, baby. Make this planet a better place to live for us and our kids. All right, you can leave that up. And Shondell's already got a bunch of kale over here draining from being washed, and she's gonna strip these here a little bit so I can get more stems. So it's a little monotonous, but something I really do enjoy. Since I'm not in a professional kitchen anymore, I love cooking at home. And now that we're about 90% vegetarian, I truly enjoy figuring out how to use vegetables differently and in more dishes and with more techniques for preparation, like cutting, slicing, shredding, parboiling and freezing, so we can actually get really good vegetables fresh, but we can parboil them 2 minutes, boiling water, cool them in ice water, and then throw them on a parchment paper pan and put them in the freezer to freeze them kind of in that natural state. Then once you get them frozen like that, you bring them back in, you throw them in Ziploc or backpack baggers. We got really nice backpacks over there. You put them in there when they're frozen, and you backpack them then. That way you don't have seepage of water kind of coming up into your backpacker. It's more like a dry product, so you don't have a problem with the vacuum sealer actually sealing correctly. So it gets a good tight vacuum on that product, and you can stick it in the freezer and it'll stay for months. And it's probably the best vegetable you can get, besides relying on the grocery stores and their ways of freezing stuff bulk. Which is probably not the best practices. At least we know how we're dealing with our veg here, which is a good thing in my opinion. So this thing is about clean. Got a couple little side pieces here we can kind of dig down into and smooth out. But that's it, man. That's a daikon that's peeled. Stick him in there. We'll get rid of our peel. Into the trash can. So now, you know, been around a knife for a while, and now that I say that, I'll probably cut myself on this video, but it's what happens when you deal with sharp knives. What I try to tell people is if you got a round item, you know, sometimes you want to make a flat cut there so it stays like this, stays nice and flat, but I kind of found one because I used a flat peeler. So I found my nice flat edge to put it on. What I'm going to do is take off the spicy portion. Boom. That's what that looks like. Kind of phallic, kind of funny. So this piece will go into cubes and we'll roast this bad boy off. This is probably a salad guy. We're eating raw. You could pickle this too, so I'm big into pickling. My next daikon, I'll do a pickled version, and I'll show you guys how to do that. We'll slice it into strips, kind of like carrots. I'll make the pickling liquid on the stove. It's basically 2-to-1 sugar to salt, maybe 3-to-1 actually, and your vinegar and your mustard seed and all that. Bring it to a boil. Get your chopped items in a mason jar. Pour that hot boiling liquid on top of them, tighten the lid, flip them upside down, and wait for them to cool naturally. That's a quick pickle, and you can do that with daikon. I do it with jalapenos. I do it with carrots. In fact, not too long ago, I made a daikon kimchi that I still have a big jar of in my outside fridge, and it is absolutely the bomb. And I'll grab that for you in a second when I get done prepping this. So here we go. Again, salad stuff. So I'm probably gonna cut it thin. We'll see how I do it. So just so you can get it into, you know, eatable or edible pieces, you kind of want to make it to where it's smaller. You could even go one more cut like that. So I've got 4 cuts in that dude. And then please pay attention to your knife skills and kind of how you do this. It's a pretty easy one to cut, but the idea is always do that. See my thumb? See my fingers, how they're gripping it? Okay, see where my knife goes? All right, here we go. So my knife I'm holding like this. Basically, it's very flexible. It can go where it needs to go. I butt it up to my knuckle and I cut. Wow. Well, they were right. That is, it's got sweet up front, and then it's got like a horseradishy heat right at the end, especially down here to the tip, I imagine. Wow. Yeah, got some heat. I like that. Okay. So let's do the other side. So this has actually been used. We're big into recycling our one-use plastics, our single-use plastics. So this has been washed and dried. We've literally had the same Ziplocs in this house for the past 6 months. We've been using one box out of each size. Same goes for these. If I can't reuse them, I'm not doing it right. Feel the same thing about you guys out there. Practice less plastics. Water bottles, Walmart bags. I know it's tough right now with COVID. They don't let you bring your own stuff in, but man, if you wash your vegetables anyway when you get home, put them in your basket without plastic. Let them bag them. Put them in your paper bags for you at Whole Foods or wherever, and take them home and wash them. A little bit of vinegar in the sink with some really good clean water, and let them soak in there. You know, lightly scrub them with a light brush, and then put them in your drainer. And at that point, you can package them however you want to in your own rewashed, reused plastics at home like we do. Anyway, that's my tip. Just the tip, just for a second. So we always prep a lot of kind of salad items because we eat so many salads. So we're constantly prepping, you know, 7 or 8 different veggies raw for our salads, and then probably about 7 or 8 that are par cooked or roasted. This is a raw product, obviously. This one's raw too, but I'm gonna stick it in here and we'll eventually roast it. That dude's a little bit tougher. So I do stuff a little bit different because I'm used to being around a knife. This isn't something I recommend. Much rather you cut a shorter piece and then try to do that. My knife is uber sharp too, so there's that. Okay, so now we're just gonna make strips and then cut into 1/2-inch cubes. More cubes. They're really cool. Damn, that is really good. That is a lot sweeter than the other tip of it that's hot and spicy. This has a little bit of horseradish, but not much. It's just a lot of flavor. I can imagine how good these are gonna be roasted. All right, one last piece. And again, this one's a little bit thinner than the last pieces. So what you do in that situation, so you wanna make them all cook correctly, make them a little wider cut up on top. That way everything kind of cooks in the same pace. Diakon, done. So let's clean this off. So that's kind of one of the keys to successful knife skills is paying attention to your surface. Make sure it doesn't slip around on you a lot. I love these plastic cutting boards. Of course, I use wood underneath of everything. It's just better for the knife blade. You know, all that cushion you can give a good blade is good. And these things are super versatile. And man, they're easy to clean, so we keep 6 or 7 around. Okay, on to the jalapenos. So I've got a little container for my jalapenos. ahead and clean my knife blade. Go ahead and give these a quick wash. Okay, washed. So I've got 5 here and I'm probably not gonna cut them all. I just wanna look for the ones that are kind of the oldest or squishiest feeling, because I know I have to use those first. And the other ones can kind of sit in the fridge and wait. These 3 are firm. These 2 are a little softer. Yeah, this one has a little spot in it. See, I go through jalapenos. I'll probably eat 1 a day. Chop, Shundell doesn't eat them, but I do. So I know if I cut 2 of these, I'll eat these in the next couple of days. These 3, I'll do the same exercise in a day or 2 and keep on eating my jalapenos. So I don't thin mine, some people do. But if you want to know how to thin a jalapeno, I'll do one for you. So, thinned. But I like them like that. Hey, baby. Okay, so once you have that done, you just chop right through them, because I like a chunkier jalapeno, so. Seeds will go flying, that's why you got a broom. At this point, you need to really keep in mind, this is gonna have hot shit on it. And by hot shit, I mean, you don't wanna go touching your junk or anybody else's junk or your eyes or not much anything. You really wanna treat this as toxic for a minute and just get your job done and wash your dang hands. You guys know how to wash your hands nowadays, don't you? Well, this is a point where you just want to make sure you keep this away from vital things that might get tingly and hot and painful if you touch them with it. Yeah, I've made that mistake before. No bueno. Anyway. Okay, you're fine. You can be in the vid. You don't want to be in my vid? Okay, another neat thing about these cutting boards, being flexible and durable. So if you have a container like this and you really don't want to mess too much with gathering this stuff up, love that feature. And then I've got a little left on here, so I'll show you what I do. So I take that knife that has got all that hot stuff on it, and I just kind of use it as a scraper until I get the majority of that in there. Now this is something I don't recommend a lot of people do because knives scare a lot of people, but if you're comfortable with a knife, by all means. Okay, and we're gonna put this in the sink and this in the sink, and we're gonna wash. Wash-a-roo. Go ahead and wash your knife down. Make sure it's ready for the next chore. Don't leave a knife in a sink ever, please. Don't ever do that. It's a good way to hurt people. So whenever you put a knife in a sink, clean it is the best idea. Or yell, "Knife in the sink!" All right, kids, so that was that little show and tell. The rest of from here is clean. I'm gonna have to sweep the floor. I'm going to put these in another container for the fridge. Probably use another one of my multi-use Ziplocs. And then later on, I will come back with another video showing the final preparation of our veg that we made this morning. We did 2 big bags of Brussels sprouts. We cut them, cut the ends off, cut them in half, put them in salted boiling water to parboil them, then cooled them. Did the same thing with about 2 pounds of broccoli. And then we vac packed 3 zucchini, just raw, vac packed them so they'd stay because we're supposed to be on quarantine for the next couple months. So we're trying to mitigate our vegetables through this period and understand how to stay vegetarian, vegan slightly when we can't go to the store. So that's the whole goal here, is keeping enough viable veg around where it satisfies Shondell and our need and diet for the vegetables. Because we, in our lifestyle, we do about 90% vegetarian and 10% meat intake, and it's very specific meat. We just hand pick it and we use very little whenever we do, and we usually stretch it between 3 or 4 meals. So it's a very frugal way of doing it. And when you realize that when you give up meat and how expensive meat is, you can buy the higher end organic vegetables and it ends up being a wash, if not better economically for you, and definitely physically better for you. The less meat, the better on the environment, on your body, water intake, all that stuff. So if you can reduce down to a 90-10, you're doing a really good job for the environment and your body. It's the way I view it. That's how we've kind of gotten into better shape and reduced our blood pressure, my blood pressure, and increased my energy. So saying all that, basically at the end of the day, what I'm gonna do is take the vegetables that are being froze now after they've been blanched, bring them back in. I'll do another video. I did, again, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, green beans, raw, and then some Boston burger that we bought yesterday. We bought, I believe it was about a 4-pound pack, and Boston burger is a special blend of ground beef and pork. I think it's 60-40 beef to pork, and it's awesome. Just amazing product. So what I did is I portioned that out into 2 pounds by themselves, and then 2 half-pound burgers, and then 2 5-ounce burger patties. So we've got kind of a myriad of different things we're gonna vac pack together. Like I'll do the 2 pounds individually from each other. I'll do the 2 half-pound burgers together, and then I'll do, or maybe I'll do a half-pound and a 5-ounce. So Shondell gets a 5-ounce and I get a half-pound. We've got options, and we'll use our really nice vac packer to make that happen, and then we'll label them all with dates. So I'll show you that journey in a second. Today on this video, we just did this. Little refresher, Diakon spicy roasted cubes. These are cut down on a nice little thin salad cut. And then we're gonna put these up, and we're gonna blanch these in a second. Shondell's gonna do more kale and give me more of these kale stems, I guess is what you call them. I love them. And I'll tell you more about these in the next video. Bye.